We introduced ourselves, and then filled out assessment forms covering two things. One, if something makes us anxious. Two, if that anxiety keeps us from doing it. The first thing the therapists do is explain to us why we feel the way we do, due to unfortunate social conditioning or negative feedback, whether it be bullies or your own self-talk. Your mind has programmed social encounters as something which causes great fear. Yeah, that means your anxiety levels from just small talk are literally as high as if you're being attacked, robbed, etc. What even amplifies that fear is the vicious cycle of avoidance. We get invited to a party, we're about to go, but psych ourselves out and stay in our comfort haven. And you feel worthless and shitty because of it? You regret it. The next social invitation comes along and you avoid that too, only building on your anxiety and feeling of loneliness. Worthlessness. In conclusion, social anxiety is an irrational fear that triggers your body's fight or flight response, the sympathetic nervous system. But that is the beauty of it. The fight or flight response is so intense and takes up so many resources from your body that, and this is key, your body cannot hold up that state forever. So what was her plan for the group, then? That's right, constant exposure to the most nerve-wracking social situations you can think of. In other words, to get over social anxiety you need to face your fears. And it's hard. Basically, the main point is, as painful and cliché as it sounds, put yourself in social situations that you know you are going to feel uncomfortable in. And probably going to embarrass yourself in too, cause if you don't, the only other alternative is to become further and further isolated until the problem is just going to get even harder to solve. A few suggestions I would make are: 1. Get a part-time job that will require social interactions with customers. Part-time is best since it's probably easier to get and you don't want to dive in headfirst with a full-time job. 2. Join a gym. It's very likely that exercise will make you feel even a little bit better about yourself. Also, this can give you some good practice at just doing stuff in a public space without worrying about people looking at you, since everyone at the gym is just there to exercise and doesn't care about the other people there. I guarantee you, no one will give enough of a damn about you to look at you, regardless of what you're wearing or what you look like. 3. Try and make friends. I'll be honest, this is a really difficult one and I don't even know where I would begin with this. Maybe if you are lucky and you make good friends with someone at a job, if you get one. I honestly don't know what I would have done without that old friend hitting me up and inviting me out. This is actually one of the bigger goals I've accomplished that I'm proud of, but it's weird to talk about it most of the time. I took baby steps by giving myself small goals. For a while it was just to say good morning or hello to one stranger every day, assuming I crossed any. Just say hello and sort of nod, not really inviting conversation but just being polite. Then it would be to ask coworkers or people I knew but didn't know well something about themselves. Sometimes those things led to more talking and sometimes not. But when you make little steps like that, people recognize it and usually return the favor. If you find these attempts not going anywhere, don't just say you liked the movie. Think about what you liked about it, etc. Answer a question and then ask it back. I think another step was to learn how to make comments on things around you. Say things just to talk. It's hot as balls today. She looks really good today. Man, I've got a headache. Just the dumb shit people say for whom speaking is not worthy of planning. A huge thing that helped was realizing that I'm not weird. Well, honestly, I am kind of weird. But when you have social anxiety, you tend to think your normal things are weird and assume people are judging every little thing. I spent a lot of time doing self-talk about what's normal, and doing things that I knew in my head were normal even though they felt weird. Basically, just pretend. Fake it till you make it. If you pretend to be normal, after a while it becomes your new normal. I think because getting over it was a conscious goal in my mind, I started to recognize which thoughts in my head were the wrong ones and started to ignore them. When I was getting over being afraid of calling someone on the phone, I would literally think la 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 in my head while I was dialing the phone as quickly as possible, like I was sneaking around my own mind. But it worked. If my gut reaction was to say no to an invite, I'd spit out yes before my brain knew what was happening. That doesn't sound like it makes sense, but that's how it worked for me. The absolute biggest obstacle, in case you're a hardcore introvert like me, is learning how to translate your inner mind into actual sentences you can speak out loud. You know what I mean if you hate when someone asks what you're thinking about because the answer is both nothing and everything at the same time. It just takes practice. Listen to the kinds of comments other people make and copy them. Accept that you're gonna sound stupid sometimes, and that's okay. You'll get better and people might think you're sort of awkward, but there are worse things. And after a while, you'll meet new people who only know this less awkward version of you. Maybe before you get to the step of trying to offer your opinions, spend some time forming hypothetical answers in your mind to practice. Not super eloquent, articulate end goal answers, but just normal everyday stuff like, yeah, they're okay, but I really like so and so.